In this video, we will analyze Glasgow Climate Summit, that is COP26, along with other important historical climate change conferences of the past. So after 2 weeks of closed-door bargaining among world leaders, the United Nations Climate Summit in Glasgow finally came to an end on November 13, 2021. Now, one of the aims of this summit, which was organized in the city of Glasgow, was to keep the Paris Agreement 2015 goal of limiting temperature rise to 1.5 degrees Celsius alive as compared to the beginning of industrial era. Now, to understand whether Glasgow summit was success or failure, it is important to understand the background of climate change debate. We know that climate change is real in the contemporary world. As per historical evidences, ancient and medieval time period were comparatively rich in forest cover. But from 1800s, that means from the beginning of industrial revolution, cutting down of trees, establishment of industries became much more common. This resulted in rampant increase of greenhouse gases in atmosphere. Greenhouse gases, for example, carbon dioxide, nitrous oxide, methane, chlorofluorocarbon can trap enormous amount of solar radiations within troposphere, and this result in increase of the temperature of our planet, which is also known as global warming. Now, this increase in global temperature could be disastrous because it can lead to melting up of ice caps, glaciers, and it can lead to sea level rise, which can submerge coastal areas and can also bring lot of floods. So there is a necessity to curb these greenhouse gases, and this is possible through climate change debates. Now, climate change debates are usually focused on two main points. First point is related to mitigation. Mitigation means reduction of carbon dioxide, because ultimately reduction of CO2 can lead to reduction of climate change events. But the question is, which country will reduce more CO2? Because CO2 reduction means that a country has to compromise with the development process. So this question is always raised in climate change debate, that which country will reduce more CO2. Second question of debate related to climate change revolves around adaptation. Adaptation means preparation for disastrous impact of climate change. For example, if the country has a long coastline, then it is quite possible that with climate change that country might become prone to floods and large area of the coastline might get submerged. So the country need to prepare beforehand for any climate change events that may occur later on. So there is a necessity to develop flood resilient infrastructure in the coastal region. But again the question is, who will fund such projects? So adaptations are dependent upon funding, and there is always debate related to how to raise the finance for adaptation. Now let us see different types of environment or climate change conferences in the past. So on the time scale, we can mark three important phases in climate change talk. First phase is related to the event which is considered to be the beginning of climate discussion. That means Rio Conference 1992. Second phase will be during the implementation of Kyoto Protocol, and the third phase is after implementation of Kyoto Protocol. So let's see this. So in the beginning, Rio Conference of 1992 was very important conference in which for the first time climate change discussion began. Now Rio Conference was all about implementation of sustainable development concept. Sustainable development is dependent on striking balance between developmental process and environment. Since we know that industries lead to huge amount of CO2 and other gases, so to strike a balance between industrial establishment and removal of CO2 or reduction of climate change, one important body was formed in Rio Conference itself, and this is known as UNFCCC, which stands for United Nations Framework Convention on Climate Change. So this is the main organization and this is a main convention which has been signed by more than 154 countries, and all these countries unanimously decide and take decision on climate change matters. After Rio Conference, UNFCCC had conducted many talks which have emerged in the form of Kyoto Protocol in 2005. So in between this time duration, that means 1992 and 2005, there were different COPs. COPs basically means Conference of Parties, or the annual meeting of those parties which are member to UNFCCC. So all those countries which are already part of United Nations Framework Convention on Climate Change meet annually and decide how to take actions in order to mitigate climate change. So in between time course of Rio conference and 2005, there have been many COP. Now two important COPs are first COP1 in Berlin and COP3 in Kyoto. So it was COP3 of Kyoto 1997 in which Kyoto Protocol was formulated. So finally, Kyoto Protocol was implemented in 2005. This protocol is very significant because it is the first treaty which is related to reduction of climate change. So Kyoto Protocol was implemented, and initially the time scale which was kept for implementation of Kyoto Protocol was till the year 2012. So first commitment period of Kyoto Protocol came to an end in 2012. But in between this time duration of 2005 and 2012, again there have been many successive talks or conference of parties. Now these conference of parties which are very important are COP13 Bali Meet of 2007, COP15 Copenhagen Summit of 2009, COP16 was held in Cancun and therefore it was known as Cancun Summit 2010, and COP17 is the Durban Summit of 2011. So all these are important conferences which have been held between the time course of implementation of Kyoto Protocol. Now finally, first commitment period of Kyoto Protocol came to an end in 2012, and there was need to formulate guidelines in order to strengthen the commitment towards reduction of climate change. So after 2012, for some time this Kyoto Protocol was simply extended, and this Kyoto Protocol second commitment period started from 2013 onwards. So finally, there were many COPs in between the time period when extended Kyoto Protocol was going on. So these COP or annual meeting of the member countries which are member countries to UNFCCC are following. First COP18 was held in Doha 2012. Second COP19 was held in Warsaw 2013. COP20 was held in Lima in the year 2014. COP21 was very significant because finally Paris conference was held and Paris agreement was supported unanimously by everyone which were the member states of UNFCCC. Then COP22 was held in Marrakesh in 2016. COP13 was held in Bonn. COP24 was also known as Katowice Conference of 2018. Then COP25 was held in Madrid 2019. Now first commitment period was already ended in Kyoto Protocol. So second commitment period of Kyoto Protocol lasted till the year 2020. So in the time course of 2012 and 2020, all these COPs or annual meeting were held. So gradual discussions and debate on climate matter finally resulted in important agreement which is known as Paris Agreement. We are right now in 2021. It is the time period when Kyoto Protocol has already ended, and we need another treaty which should be much more better and much more useful in order to reduce climate change. So 2021 Glasgow conference or COP26 was anticipated with much hope because uh, it was being thought that Glasgow summit will bring solution to the persistent problem of climate change, and we will be having a very strong treaty very soon. Let's see what are the outcomes of Glasgow, but before this, let us go into the detail of the previous important conferences. Rio Conference of 1992 supported the concept of sustainable development, and finally guidelines for sustainable development were implemented. Sustainable development is all about striking balance between environment and developmental process. In order to strike a balance between environment and development process, UNFCCC was formulated, which stands for United Nations Framework Convention on Climate Change. So the formation of UNFCCC was a significant step in climate change history. It was finally the member states of UNFCCC which have formulated Kyoto Protocol. Now, in 1997, when annual meeting was held in the city of Kyoto in Japan, finally all the member countries of UNFCCC signed an agreement which is known as Kyoto Protocol. So this is the time period between Rio Conference of 1992 when UNFCCC was formulated and before the implementation of Kyoto Protocol. So Kyoto Protocol was adopted in the same year 1997, but finally it was implemented in 2005. Let's see a few points related to Kyoto Protocol. So Kyoto Protocol was a protocol which is the first international treaty signed to reduce climate change across the world. It was adopted in 1997 and it was enforced in 2005. First commitment period of this treaty was from 2005 to 2012 and second commitment period was from 2012 to 2020. Now in this Kyoto Protocol, an important target was set. Especially the target was for developed or industrialized country. So together all industrialized countries had to reduce their carbon emissions by 5% on an average as compared to 1990 level. Secondly, this Kyoto Protocol was based on common but differential responsibility. Let's see it in more detail. Now, common but differential responsibility is the term which was often highlighted in Kyoto Protocol. It is the term which means that every country would be responsible to reduce climate change, but the burden will be differential. That means the developed country who have already created lot of emissions historically in the environment because they have industrialized early, therefore these developed countries had to bear the burden of increase in climate change. They are the ones who have to take significant steps to reduce climate change and they are the ones who have to help the developing countries in minimizing climate impact. It was decided in Kyoto Protocol of 1997 that industrialized countries or developed countries will reduce carbon emission on an average by 5% as compared to 1990 level. And there was also variation among different countries. For example, USA was given the target to reduce carbon emission by 7%. European Union had to reduce their carbon emission by 8%. And so on. So every country was given different target, but on an average, developed countries were more burdened to reduce emission and they had to reduce it by 5% as compared to 1990 level. And this target had to be achieved by the year 2012. That means by the year of the end of first commitment period of Kyoto Protocol. Now let's see a few points related to how Kyoto Protocol was implemented. No doubt, Kyoto Protocol was based on emission reduction commitment. It is the first binding emission reduction commitment for developed country and it was based on common but differential responsibility. So this protocol is important because it is the first treaty which has ever been signed on climate change and developed countries were given more burden to reduce climate change under this protocol. Second, the mechanism of Kyoto Protocol implementation. So it was based on flexible market mechanism. Let's see it in more detail. So in Kyoto Protocol, there were two types of countries, Annexure A country which were developed and Annexure B countries which are different countries under developing nations. So first mechanism under Kyoto Protocol was joint implementation. This means that Annexure A country will help Annexure B country in order to minimize climate change impact. Second mechanism is also known as clean development mechanism. So climate change reduction is possible if we invest more in clean technology or renewable technology. So it was decided under Kyoto Protocol that Annexure A countries which were already developed, they will help in implementation of emission reduction project or renewable technology projects in the developing countries like India and China. Third mechanism under Kyoto Protocol is known as carbon trading, which means cap and trade or offset trading. Let us see these two in more detail. So carbon trading was decided to be done based on carbon credits. Now what are these carbon credits? So if any country or company reduce carbon emission by 1 ton, then they will get some certificates in the form of carbon credits, and these carbon credits can be sold in the market, and the value of carbon credit is decided based on market value. So Rio Conference or Earth Summit of 1992 resulted in UNFCCC, and the member countries of UNFCCC finally formulated Kyoto Protocol in the year 1997. Under Kyoto Protocol of 1997, carbon credit was one of the important mechanism in order to reduce carbon emission. Now, carbon credit can also be explained in the following manner. Let's say this is industry A and this is industry B. Industry A is releasing less emission and industry B is emitting more. There is a cap or limit on emission. This is known as cap on emission. So according to the picture, we can easily see industry A is emitting less, industry B is emitting more. So ideally, we need to provide benefit to industry A. So the amount of carbon which is less emitted by industry A will be converted into carbon credit certificates. So these carbon credits can be sold to the company which is emitting more. So industry A can sell carbon credit to industry B. In this way, the industry which is emitting less emission will be benefited in terms of money. So this mechanism was one of the crucial mechanisms under Kyoto Protocol. Second mechanism was carbon offsetting. Carbon offsetting means that if in a place a company or industry is producing emission, then that emission which is produced is counterbalanced by investing in project like renewable technology in some other location. So emissions which are produced in one location are reduced by offsetting in another location. This process is known as carbon offsetting. So Kyoto Protocol mechanisms were joint implementation, clean development mechanism, and carbon trading. Now Kyoto Protocol was also the legally binding agreement. This means country will not get credit through joint implementation if they don't abide with the rules and regulation of Kyoto Protocol. Secondly, any country which fail to meet the target will be banned from cap and trade, and they have to reduce 30% more emission in the next time period. So these were the three important points under Kyoto Protocol. But however, since more burden was put on developed country, we know that in the year 2001, Bush administration announced that it would not implement Kyoto Protocol. So this was a major setback just before implementation of Kyoto Protocol, when a big developed country like USA finally withdrew to become part of this protocol. Kyoto Protocol was implemented in 2005, and since then we have held many conferences. Let's see few of them. COP13 was organized in Bali, and it is also known as Bali Meet 2007. So the time frame of this conference is just after implementation of Kyoto Protocol. So definitely Bali Meet was all about how to strengthen the targets of Kyoto Protocol, how to make this protocol much more strong. So let's see few points under Bali Meet. So Bali Meet of 2007 adopted Bali Roadmap. Now this was a roadmap, that means a 2-year process to finalize an agreement in Copenhagen. Now Bali Roadmap include following point. It was a roadmap to build long-term cooperative action in order to mitigate climate change, and it was also related to the action on adaptation, that means well preparedness related to the impact of climate change. Fourth, Bali Roadmap also included action plan on technology development, that means clean technology that can reduce climate change and our dependency on fossil fuel. Fifth, Bali Roadmap also included action on financial resources. COP15 was held in Copenhagen in the year 2009. is also the conference which was organized while Kyoto Protocol was already implemented across the world. In Copenhagen Summit of 2009, Copenhagen Accord was formulated. Copenhagen Accord was basically a non-binding agreement, and in this it was realized that not only carbon emissions need to be cut, but we also have to check the temperature rise. So it was decided that all the countries will cut their emissions and they will try to hold the temperature to 2 degrees Celsius across the world. In this, there was a need of cooperation between developed and developing countries. So it was decided that developed countries will reduce greenhouse gas by 2020 and developing nations will also mitigate carbon emissions and they will also try to decrease emission at their own level. Now for this, there was also a provision of funding which was discussed. So it was decided that funds would be raised. Developed country will raise around $30 billion and world will raise around $100 billion per year by 2020. Now Copenhagen Accord is one significant point of Copenhagen Summit, but there is another thing that is quite crucial about this conference and that is related to three new bodies. So subsequently after Copenhagen and the discussion that went in Copenhagen Summit led to the formation of mechanism on REDD+. It also led to the formation of Green Climate Fund and Technology Mechanism. Let's see the next conference now. Next conference, that is COP16, was held in Cancun City of Mexico. This summit, Cancun Summit, was held in between Kyoto Protocol 2005, that means implementation year of Kyoto Protocol, and the year in which Kyoto Protocol finally came to an end in 2012. So this Cancun Summit was crucial because the things that were discussed in the previous conference of Copenhagen were finally enforced in Cancun Summit. So Cancun Summit finally resulted in three important mechanisms. These three mechanisms are technology mechanism. That means it was decided that certain action would be taken up to develop clean technology because clean and green technology is the necessity to mitigate climate change. Second mechanism was Green Climate Fund. So Green Climate Fund was the fund which was established under Article 11, and in this it was decided that there were certain projects which would be supported by Green Climate Fund. Developed countries will help in generating money, so there will be a redistribution of money from developed to developing countries, and thereby entire world will move towards low carbon emission path. So in this way, through Green Climate Fund, we will develop projects which will be helpful in mitigating climate change. Third mechanism is related to adaptation fund. So it was discussed here in Cancun meet that finally the world will take certain measures to be better prepared for any climate adverse impact. So there was a need to develop finance or fund for adaptation. So it was discussed here that adaptation fund will finance adaptation project in developing country and this will be managed by adaptation fund board. The finance of adaptation fund would come from certificates, that is certified emission reduction. Next summit was held in the city of South Africa, that is Durban. It was one of the crucial summit because it was held just before the end of first commitment period of Kyoto Protocol. So in Durban summit of 2011, following were the important outcomes. First, it was decided that there is a requirement of New Deal. Kyoto Protocol will not be sufficient. In order to control climate change, we have to finalize a new deal by 2015 and finally that deal should be launched by the year 2020. Second, it was decided that for now, second phase of Kyoto need to be initiated. First commitment period of Kyoto would be ending in 2012, but we have to unless we have a finalized deal, we have to continue with Kyoto Protocol. Third, Green Climate Fund was launched. Adaptation mechanism was put into place. There was also transparency mechanism in order to better see whether all those steps which have been discussed related to climate change are implemented in the ground level in each country. Equity finds place in future climate talk. Agriculture was brought in by developed nation under climate change, and it was agreed that second Kyoto commitment will be continued. But however, immediately after this conference in 2011, Canada withdrew to become part of Kyoto Protocol any further. So this was also a major setback for Kyoto Protocol when one after another developed countries simply moved out from Kyoto. So next COP was held in Doha. This is known as COP 18 or Doha Summit of 2012. So Doha Summit is at the time period when second commitment period of Kyoto Protocol was initiated. First commitment period was over. So in this time duration, Doha conference was held. So let's see a few points about Doha. So here government agreed for universal climate change agreement by 2015, and later on we know that Paris agreement was enforced in 2015. So course of discussion was related to development of new treaty. Second, Kyoto Protocol was amended slightly. Second commitment period was decided to start from 2013 onward, and Kyoto mechanism, for example, carbon credit mechanism, carbon offsetting mechanism, joint implementation, and clean development mechanism will simply continue. Biennial report was decided for measurement, reporting, and verification. So it was decided that every country will submit biennial report which will highlight what measures that country has taken in order to reduce climate change. Finally, COP19 was held in Warsaw. Warsaw is a city in Poland, and this conference was significant again because it was implemented during the second commitment period of Kyoto Protocol. So in Warsaw, it was decided that nationally determined contribution would be put into transparent manner. Nationally determined contribution means those contributions which are related to reduction of emission in the nation. So every country was given a choice how they would like to reduce by CO2 and by how much that country will like to reduce CO2. Second, it was decided that ambition gap will be closed. Green Climate Fund will be put for business. Warsaw Framework for RED Plus was formulated, and this was one of the significant points because it was in this conference, Warsaw Conference, that it was realized that we need to do something about deforestation because cutting down of tree was prime reason for release of CO2. So emission reduction from deforestation and forest degradation was highlighted here. Developed countries need to provide $100 billion for adaptation fund, and this was also one of the important point under Warsaw. Finally, the countries will continue to measure their CO2. They will verify that and report it to United Nations. COP20 was held in the year 2014 in the city of Lima in Peru. So this conference was again in the time course of second implementation period of Kyoto Protocol. In this conference, countries will submit INDC by 2019, that was decided, and the framework for measurement of CO2 and other greenhouse gases, reporting of these greenhouse gases, and verification was finalized. COP21 was held in Paris. It is also known as Paris Conference of 2015. And this conference is very significant because it was held in the second commitment period of Kyoto Protocol in order to finalize and strengthen commitments toward climate change. So it was in this conference that finally Paris Agreement was implemented. So in Paris Agreement, it was decided that countries will cut off their emission in order to reduce temperature rise to 2 degrees Celsius. INDC were formulated. Every country was given choice to reduce their carbon emission, and this is known as intended nationally determined contribution. Paris Agreement was finally enforced in 2016. Now, INDC means the targets which have been developed by the country themselves, and they have decided what ways they will choose in order to achieve those targets. So INDC vary from country to country. For example, India has put forward their intended nationally determined contribution as the emission intensity reduction of GDP to 33 to 35% by 2030. China has decided that they will reduce 60 to 65% of carbon intensity of GDP by 2030. USA has decided to reduce emission by 26 to 28% by 2025. European Union has decided to reduce emission by 40% by the end of 2030. So every country has decided on their own what kind of emission and how much emission they will reduce in the coming years. Paris Agreement was hailed as one of the most successful agreement so far on climate change. COP22 was held in Marrakesh region of Morocco in 2016. Now this was after Paris Conference of 2015 and the Kyoto Protocol second commitment period was still going on. So in COP22 Marrakesh Climate Change Conference of 2016, following points were raised. First, related to finance. No doubt Paris Agreement would be in place very soon, but Paris Agreement require countries to provide biennial report in which they will keep the record of their finance and account. So these biennial reports are prepared by every country and submitted to United Nations after every 2 years. Second, in Marrakesh climate change, it was decided to think upon orphan issues which have not been discussed so far. For example, should there be a common timeline for INDC? As we have seen before, INDC are different for different countries. So should there be a common timeline? Should there be a collective financial goal by 2025? All these things were discussed in Marrakesh conference. Third was adaptation fund. It was decided that adaptation fund need to be established under Kyoto Protocol in order to strengthen it further. So this fund will provide support to developing countries for adaptation. So as we can see, discussion on adaptation fund were going on for a long time period. But are we able to finally come up with the conclusion? Not yet. Okay. Same way, finance and adaptation have always been the matter of discussion. So it was realized that there is a need for fund and $23 million for climate technology center and network would be developed in order to have more knowledge about climate change and its resources. COP23 was held in Bonn, city of Germany, and in COP23, that is Bonn Conference of 2017, the timeline was during the second Kyoto commitment period. So in this conference of Bonn, Coal Alliance was decided and it was discussed that coal is the fossil fuel which is contributing to climate change and we have to phase it out soon by 2030. Second, in this, the role of women was highlighted. It was realized that we need to involve women in climate change actions. Third, local community platform was developed in order to strengthen the action plan for local communities which are quite vulnerable to climate change. Fourth, Ocean Pathway Partnership was developed. So it was decided that we need to increase action in priority area which are impacted by ocean and climate change. Now, Bonn Conference was also known for Talanoa Dialogue. It is a dialogue in which there is a lot of storytelling and people who attended it personally shared their experience related to climate change. So Talanoa is basically a word in Fiji and it means inclusive partnership and transparent dialogue. So Talanoa dialogue was designed to help countries in order to implement their nationally determined contribution by 2020. So there were a lot of sharing of ideas, skill and experience with a storytelling mode in order to build trust. COP24 was held in Katowice in the year 2018. Katowice is one of the city of Poland, and in this climate change conference, following points were highlighted. 133-page Paris rulebook was implemented. Second, guideline on how countries will improve their information about nationally determined contribution was also highlighted. Then next conference was held in Madrid, Spain 2019. It is the time period which was just before the world was impacted by COVID. So the conference was held in Madrid, Spain in 2019. This is also the time period when Kyoto Protocol second commitment period was going on and world was looking for strengthening Paris Agreement in order to finally implement it on ground. Now in Madrid, Spain, Conference of Parties 25 was the longest ever. It was longest and the most debated conference, but however it ended in deadlock. No concrete decision was taken up in this conference. Finally, everyone was disappointed. There was a lot of disappointment among developing countries, least developed countries, because they are the ones who are vulnerable to climate change. And this disappointment is basically due to the fact of climate finance. So, no concrete discussion was done, no concrete conclusion came up for adaptation. So, climate finance for adaptation was not finalized in this conference, and same is the case with loss and damage and enhanced NDC. Loss and damage means that if a country is already witnessing the impact of climate change, they are facing a lot of economic loss, then who will repay these losses? So no concrete discussion on the funding of loss and damage was also done in Madrid, Spain conference. Recently, world has witnessed COP26, which was held in Glasgow in the year 2021. Now, this summit was very significant because it was held after a gap of an year because the world was affected with pandemic COVID-19. Also, Glasgow 2021 was anticipated with much hope in order to bring solution towards climate change. No doubt, Glasgow's success was that it finished building momentum for climate action which were initiated in Paris Agreement. Now the timing of Glasgow was correct and it is at the right time. Kyoto Protocol has already ended by 2020 and we need definitely a treaty that is strong enough in order to curb climate change and in order to reduce carbon emission. Climate change is already evident this year and Glasgow summit was held at the right time. It was climate change which had converted peaceful Arabian Sea into hotbed of cyclones and storms. It was also climate change which has affected forests across the world. And most of the forests of America, Australia were engulfed in forest fire. It was also climate change which has melted down the glaciers and ice caps of different regions. So climate change is happening and there was a momentum across the world to do and take action against the climate change phenomena. Now in the Glasgow summit of 2021, there were few important and positive points. First point is related to mitigation of climate change. Mitigation means effort to reduce greenhouse gases and this has grabbed headlines. Glasgow summit definitely strengthened the Paris Agreement mechanism. Every country has updated and strengthened their 2030 emission targets in their nationally determined contributions. If you remember, India has pledged that by 2070 the country will move towards net zero. Net zero means the amount of emissions will be counterbalanced with the phenomena that can absorb these greenhouse gases. So therefore we can say that Glasgow summit was success because it has kept 1.5-degree target alive throughout the pledges. So Glasgow conference has definitely strengthened 2030 emission targets of nationally determined contribution of every country. Second, in the direction of adaptation, Glasgow was again quite successful. Glasgow has established an explicit 2-year work program for global goal on adaptation. Adaptation basically means preparing for the reality that some climate impacts are unavoidable and we have to be prepared for them. So this global goal on adaptation will definitely help in order to meet the requirements of adaptation. Third point is related to transparency framework which has been again established under Glasgow summit. So this includes that every country will report regularly about their emission and the progress that they are making on their pledges. Finally, fourth positive point is related to rules for climate market. So under Glasgow summit, it has been realized that certain credit system or especially the credits which have been generated from earlier time period, that means from 2013 onwards, will simply continue through clean development mechanism. So any country or industry which is emitting less amount of emission will be provided with credits if they have emitted less emission. However, climate finance, which was promised to be the central issue of COP26, was met with frustration from developing countries because the target which has been decided for over last 10 years, that is $100 billion, has not yet been met. So Glasgow has definitely focused that in future they will establish post 2025 financing, and they will continue to track the progress which will be done to meet the target of $100 billion. India has also taken few other stands. First, India has improvised the target for 2030. At present, the country has decided to increase 500 gigawatt renewable target by 2030. So most of the energy resource of India will be towards the renewable sector. Second, India has decided to increase power generation from renewable sources. Coal will be slowly and gradually phased down. So pledges which have been made in COP26 will directly impact 80% of coal-fired power plant across the world. So what Glasgow accomplished was necessary, if not sufficient, for accelerated climate action. But the real determinant of success or failure depends on the national politics and also the popular support for climate change within the country.